Okay, hey class, today we're going to be learning how to make schematics on Diptrace. We're going to be providing libraries for you, so you're not going to have to be looking for certain components and getting lost with it because Diptrace can be a bit confusing with that. So the assignment that you should be working on right now is assignment 5. If we go down to the Diptrace section, it's going to start telling you things that you want to do. You can follow this video. This is where you're going to be. This is this video actually. So Diptrace, it's gonna walk you through these steps, but I'm gonna do it with you here so that you can know exactly what you want to be doing. So Diptrace opens up to this launcher. I have it pinned right here. And you're gonna want to open component editor first. It's gonna open to something like this. Yours is probably gonna open to this one. Something like this, and this might be closed for you. We're gonna download a library right now from this assignment, and then to create a schematic, it's gonna ask you to click on create a schematic or schematic capture right here on the Diptrace launcher. We're gonna be able to use this once we download the library onto the component editor. So you can go down, and this is just walking you through how to save a schematic, because if you don't save it, you might lose it. You might also not save it in the right location. If you don't save it in the right location, you will lose it, and you won't be able to use it for future assignments. We're going to come back to it later, so you need to make sure you store it in the right location. Previous assignments should have had you make folders for this class already, so you should be following those folders already and create new ones, especially for this assignment. So once you've saved that to your specified folder, you can edit your new one. But first we're going to download this library for your schematic. Just follow the link, download it. Alrighty. We're going to go back to component editor. You're going to go up to library. So next, once we're in component editor, we want to go into library, go to library setup. And then here are all your groups. Groups are different from libraries. So you want to make a new library, which is you just click add and it's going to pop up there. You can rename it right here. So for this one, I'm just going to name it video example. That's the name of the group. Inside of that group, I'm going to make libraries. So we're going to add a library, and then the one that we just downloaded, this is why you have to be careful where you download it to. Mine is called A05 schematic lib Eli. Let's see where I stored it. It's just in OneDrive, and then it should be saved at 7:38 p.m. So let's look for that. There it is. Like I said, we're just trying to save you the trouble by making it into certain folders. This one was easier for me to find, but it could be harder for you. Just make sure you look around for it, most likely in your downloads, and then you can make sure that the timestamp is correct as well, and that should work out easily for you. Just click on it, open it, and that should work. It should keep your library in here. Once you did that, you can click OK. And we're gonna go back here into components. Down here is the video example group that we just made. Click on it. And you can name it TAD 265. That's what I named it. Inside of that TAD 265, I made another one called A05. So you're gonna have multiple more. So you can do that group and then name multiple libraries according to your assignments. So this is the video example. And now we have this schematic library, which is going to give you all the components that you need to make this schematic. So it says create the following schematic. I'll walk you through that as well. So you already made a new group and library within that group. So you're going to want to save this. If not, it's not going to transfer over to your schematic editor. So I'm just going to save this. So mine was already saved, but you can either hit Control S like it says here, or just click save. Just to be sure, I usually click X and it gives you the option whether or not you want to save it. This one didn't, which means that mine is already saved. So I'm going to go into Schematic, Components, Video Example, Schematic Library that we just downloaded. Now you have all the components that you need. Put one ground. We're going to reference this picture right here. So I already know from this that we need one ground component, one power supply component, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 resistors. So I put the ground down already. This is the power supply. And then you can just click through them and you'll get familiar with the pictures, the little symbols for every one of the components. Some of them will be attached to a pattern as well. This is a pattern which we'll be talking about when we're making the PCB board. You can ignore that for now, but right here, this is the pattern that you want. These are, and then, like I said, you can reference the picture and it'll show you exactly how you want to be doing that. So I'm going to make mine sideways and place 5 of them. It's just a rough little sketch. So we're going to go over here, click on Place Wire. Connect the wires to each other. You can put them however you want. You can play around with this a little bit and it'll show you exactly how to be doing this. Make this connection. By the way, you have to make sure that there's this little dot to make sure that they're connecting. If there's not, then you might not be making a connection when you actually want to be, or you might accidentally make a connection when you don't want to be making one. Let's connect these guys together. If you accidentally make a connection, you can click escape and it'll get off of it. And then this is just a rough sketch. Yours does not have to look exactly like this or exactly like that. That's just making it neater for you to be able to understand it. Once you're done with that, you don't want to be clicking on wires anymore, so hit escape and then you can click either escape again, which puts you back onto the move or the default setting, or you can click on it by itself. So that's how you make the schematic. You can hover over it to see where the connections are. As you can see, it changes color. Anything that's highlighted is connected here. So net 0 is all of that. All of that just turned a different color, that's all connected. All of this should be connected. These two are the only ones who should be connected. And then these all connect to ground. You can look back here. You can't hover over this one, but you can see this one goes into these. This should all be connected. It's a single node. This is another node, and another node. Alrighty. You can manipulate the components once you're back into the default setting. You can do anything you want with it, make it complicated. So just be careful with that. I want to kind of move this down. Let's see if I can get this guy to move. It can be kind of tricky learning how to move these guys, so... Oh, we're on wires. So it does get kind of confusing sometimes. Just make sure you can always click escape if something's not moving. Make sure you move it. Oh, there it goes again. Click escape and you're set. Move this down. It's getting kind of weird. Move this guy a little bit to the side. Right there. That one looks a little better. You can name all of your components different things depending on how you want them to be called. You can go to properties and then you can name it something else here. We can say this is the power supply. There you go. And that'll give it the name here. It's not going to show up on there unless you kind of... if you need that, I can show that to you and I can make a different video on that. But that's how you make this schematic. If you cannot find certain components, we give you a little walkthrough of how to find them. This is just to find the ones that were already provided, but if you need other ones, you can either go to the tutorials that Diptrace provides, or you can ask us. You can also, it's kind of complicated the way they store their items, so it does get a little bit difficult if you're making a schematic by yourself, but for the most part we'll be providing you with all of the components. And we also have a library for making a board. It's not it's not really complicated, so it's very intuitive, especially if you just follow these steps and you have all of your materials right here.